Welcome into another installment of the pj-fleck-show. I'm Ahmad Hicks, and this is none other than Minnesota head football coach PJ Fleck. Coach, we're 35 days away from kickoff. What needs to happen from now until week one for you guys to be ready to go?
Well, this is where a lot of jobs are won in training camp, right? And mold together as a team. This is what training camp's all about. You eat, breathe, and sleep football for about 4 weeks and really form your team. We've been forming it since January, but when you really look at it, training camp's the most exciting time of the year.
When you come here to Indianapolis for Big Ten Media Days, what type of thrill, what type of excitement goes through your body about the upcoming season?
Well, first of all, you never take it for granted that you're at Big Ten Media Day. I mean, it's an honor and a privilege to represent Minnesota and the University of Minnesota, our flagship university, as your head coach. And you just look forward to seeing all the players. I've really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed being around our three guys that we actually brought. They've got 18 years of Gopher experience, playing experience amongst all three of them. It's amazing. Chris Autman-Bell being on his 7th year, Brevyn Spann-Ford his 6th year, and then Tyler Nubin his 5th year.
Right.
Went to St. Elmo's last night and had some of the shrimp Diablo, and we kind of videoed each one of them actually having that.
First experience.
Nubin was the most hesitant, but the others dived right in and they definitely had the experience.
Did any of them eyes water up right away?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The nose burning?
Oh, absolutely. And if you've never had it before, it's an experience. And there's levels to it. You put it in your mouth, it tastes like not so bad, and then boom, it hits you, and then hits you again, and then takes it to an insane level, and then eventually calms down, flavors come back in your mouth, and it's one of the tastiest things you've ever had.
For the record, we had that last night. It made my eyes water. My nose was burning afterwards. So
did I describe it well?
You did. That was my first experience with it, so you were spot on with that. Let's talk about your football team. Tanner Morgan's gone. Mo Ibrahim's gone. How do you replace leaders like that?
Well, I don't know if you ever replace them, right? It just you just turn the page, and there's another player on another page, and that's why you recruit and develop. Really looking forward to the competition battle with Cole Kramer and Ethan Kalakamanis. And Ethan has so much experience, even from last year. I mean, you're talking about winning a bowl game. You're talking about beating Wisconsin, and his first start was against Penn State in the whiteout. He's got a ton of experience right now, and so does Cole. So I feel really good about where we are there and the future of our program. Will we look a little bit different on offense? Absolutely. I know everybody's like, finally. But we're still going to run the football. But I think you're going to see a little more balance to what we do and who gets the football. Running the football, obviously, Mohamed Ibrahim leaving, one of the greatest tailbacks, and statistically one of the greatest tailback in the history of our school, and respectively to Tanner Morgan as well, being the all-time winningest quarterback in our history. But you look at the 4 guys that are there. Bryce Williams has been there for a long time. And then you have 3 guys that are going to be great tailbacks in this league, that are all going to be fighting for that spot. We brought in some guys in the transfer portal at the wide receiver position that have played a ton of football. Daniel Jackson might be one of the quietest, non-talked about, best football players in the country.
Wow.
And then you have one of the best tight ends in the country. So offensive line, we had to fill some holes there and really just develop and slide them in. That's why you recruit and develop and have that cultural sustainability.
What are the unique challenges that present itself each year for a head coach in replacing your team and being able to utilize that transfer portal to build it back up?
Well, this is a very experienced team on one hand and a very inexperienced team on the other hand. I just talked about 3 guys having 18 years of experience, but then you look at the running back position, and we're really young and youthful there, of guys who are going to touch the ball an awful lot. You got some transfers that come in here that they're really good players. They played other places really well, but you haven't done it here at Minnesota. So I think that's where the fun is, too, because you're really just unwrapping these presents and gifts all through training camp and really forming your team.
You said Tyler Nubin made the trip, and this is a guy who forgoed an opportunity to go to the NFL and come back. What does that mean about him as a player and a leader here in Minnesota?
Well, I think it speaks volumes for our culture. It speaks volumes for the University of Minnesota and our state. I mean, we're talking about somebody who passed on a lot of money. Brevyn Spann-Ford passed on a lot of money. Chris Autman-Bell, well, whoever Chris was going to do it first, or Brevyn, they're tied at the hip, so they were going to do whatever, whichever one did. But when you're talking about like a Tyler Nubin, he's so charismatic, and he backs up everything with confidence. And he's done a great job of his voice being heard all the way since January. It's his defense, along with Cody Lindenberg's, and they have big voices. They back it up with their play, and they're just 2 of the greatest human beings you ever want to be around.
When we spoke with those guys for your Gopher Media Days a couple of weeks ago, they all talked about wanting to come back and be a leader and taking that next step and being a leader. What do you think you bring them? How do you get the most out of these guys, not only on the field but off the field?
Well, it's a player-led team. You want to get to a point where your players are leading the organization, and we have that. And this is year 7 for us. Well, I'm not saying that we had that at the beginning when we were here, but now we've established that guys want to come back not just because they want to play football, because they want to be the leader of the team.
Right.
They see what the leaders of the team have done and moved on to. We've had 14 draft picks in 4 years. We've had people go on and get doctorate degrees. We've got people with great jobs, but they want to lead the team. They not just want to hurry up and live and fast forward and move on with their life. They want to have the experience of having it being their team.
Right.
And I think that speaks volumes for a culture and a program.
Well, speaking of your team and your program, PJ, since you've gotten here, you've done nothing but win. 3 9-win seasons. You're averaging 7 wins a season. But there's some backlash from fans out there that says, hey, you're good, but we want you to be great and compete for Big Ten championships and national championships. Do you think that backlash is warranted for you?
Well, I don't know if I'd even call it backlash. I would just call it an elite fan base.
Right.
That's what sports are all about. I mean, every fan base in the country wants to win titles.
Right.
And if Minnesota fans didn't want to win titles, I wouldn't have been here. I wouldn't have come here. I understand that, it's not just a progression. It's we've been in the fight and we've been in the hunt to win championships every single year. We just now have to find a way to be able to get that done. But the thing is, when you do it, they're going to want you to do it again.
Exactly.
Right? And that's what's the enjoyment of sport, is that it's constantly changing and evolving. But I embrace all that. Our players embrace all that. It's part of the reason why guys keep coming back to accomplish those things. But we're not focused on the expectations of the outside, with all due respect.
Right.
It's about the process inside, and eventually that will happen. And with the playoff expanding to 12 teams, I mean, it helps a team like University of Minnesota, because it's probably 2 years since we've been here that we might have been involved in that.
Right.
If there were 5 teams from the Big Ten that were going to be involved in that. So that's the exciting part of the ever changing landscape of college football.
I was always told the journey is the reward, so your players are going through a unique journey right now. For you, talk about the strength of schedule that you guys have coming up this year. You got Michigan at home, Ohio State on the road. I know when the season starts, we won't get a chance to look ahead, so I want to do it right now. What do games like that and a win like that can mean for your program moving forward?
Well, I mean, we in our program, we know what everybody says on the outside, then we got to take it inside and internalize it, right? And really get it to a part where our players can process it, and process it the way that champions process things. And it's been well documented on the outside that we have the second hardest schedule in America, only below Ole Miss from the SEC. And so we've taken that in January and we kind of twisted that and said we have the second most opportunistic schedule in the country. And it's really been the catalyst and really been the springboard to our entire offseason. Of how we were going to have to train and what we were going to have to do and what we were going to have to do differently, and just keep changing our best. And I thought our players embraced that perfectly. And that doesn't mean you're guaranteed to beat those teams, but we played 12 games and they come at us one by one,
right?
And we'll take them as one-game championship seasons.
And when your season starts on the 31st versus Nebraska, what's the identity of this football team?
Well, the identity of a football team, that's what we're going to be able to build. Hopefully we're a very balanced, connected football team, and that's what you want. It's all about connectivity, right? And I think in the world of college football team, I think everybody, college football, especially the way it is now, everybody's fighting for that connectivity. Right. And I think some of the most connected teams are the most dangerous teams, and that's what we'll be striving for.
Okay, still more to come on the PJ-Fleck-Show. Coming up, we're going to talk about their offensive leaders that are here in Indianapolis, plus Tyler Nubin, the guy who forgoed a chance to go to the NFL to come back and lead this Gophers defense. We'll have all that coming up on the other side of the break. Welcome back to the PJ-Fleck-Show. Now I am joined by some offensive skill players, Chris Autman-Bell, tight end, Brevyn, Spann-Ford. Guys, thanks for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you.
Looking dapper. I just want to start by saying that both of you guys look incredible right now. Who would you say is the best dressed on the team?
I'll say this guy.
Can you compete with PJ Fleck?
Suit-wise, no. But if we talking regular, like street clothes, regular clothes, I got Coach B.
Say you're humble, huh?
Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
All right, let's talk about this offense. Coach Fleck just told us it's going to look different this season. How is it looking different to you guys as you go through summer workouts and prepare for training camp?
I said we just got a bunch of guys stepping up and new guys coming in the roles, spreading out more and just, getting everybody involved. So.
What about you, Brett?
Yeah, I'll definitely have to agree. Coach Harbaugh and Coach Simon are doing a great job, integrating their style of offense along with Coach Fleck's style of offense as well. So it's been a really fun summer, and the guys are working hard.
As elite pass catchers, is there a sigh of relief for you guys to say, look, I'm going to be able to showcase my skills now more this year?
Oh, yeah, it's always one of the things in the back of your head, just being able to go out and play ball and being able to be used at a certain extent and stuff. So it's awesome to be able to be trusted by your teammates and your coaches to go make plays. So.
I want to ask both of you this question. I want to start with you, Brevyn. Coach Fleck talked about how you guys passed up a lot of money to go to the NFL and come back to the University of Minnesota. Why? Why was it important to be a Gopher for one more year?
I think just the brotherhood that we've created at the U. speaking for Chris and myself, we've created a lot of bonds and a lot of great memories at the University of Minnesota, and it's not something you're always ready to let go right away. So we're excited to be back.
What about you?
Same thing, man. It's just the bonds. Next level was nice, but you lose those bonds and that relationship with your teammates in the locker room. So come back for one more, man. That was the biggest thing for me, especially to prove to myself that I just want to play one more time. So.
When I asked that question, Brevyn was smiling, talking about your guys' bond and the things you guys done. And Coach Fleck said you guys are tied to the hip. So what one person does the other. Can you talk about how you guys formed that bond and how football is much bigger than just a game?
Definitely. He came in 2018, and we was kind of just teammates then. But once 2020 came, is when we really formed a real brotherhood. He became my twin then, so everything he do, I do, whether we with each other no matter what, man. So just 2020 definitely locked this in. This is my guy for life. So.
I want to ask you guys about your signal caller, the quarterback, Ethan Kaliak-Manis. Big season coming up for him. He stepped in last year, did some pretty good things for you guys. What do you guys see from him that the outside doesn't see that makes him such a good quarterback?
I think his silliness, man. He's a silly guy, man. He's just always happy. He's always positive. You never see him down. And he's going to be good, man. He's going to be a huge leader for us.
Rev, what about you?
Yeah, I'd say the good thing about him is he's always level-headed. His first start last year was the whiteout at Penn State. And for him to go in there with, the poise of, being a new quarterback out there, it can rattle a lot of guys. But, he was very poised, level-headed. No situation's ever too big, no situation's ever too small for him.
All right, I asked Coach Fleck this question. I want to ask you guys this question. Since he's come in, he's done nothing but win. He's turned this program around. He's made them good. But now you guys want to be great. When are we going to start talking about Big Ten championships, national championships? And is that a conversation amongst you guys? And how often?
Definitely, man. It's a conversation almost every day. It's in the back of our heads almost every day. We work for it. We dream about it all the time. So it's definitely it's coming here soon, man. Coach Fleck's put in a number of work. He's brought in the right people, the right staff, right players, and it's gonna come to work soon.
Brev, how do you feel when you guys hear about the Ohio States, the Michigans, and you guys are kind of like afterthoughts in the Big Ten essentially? How does that make you feel as a player and a competitor?
Of course those teams have great players. They're nationally known and things like that, but I think it's what our hard work does off the field, and it keeps us with the level of those guys. We're always working just like they are, so we don't really give it any afterthought. We don't really care where people have us put in the race of things. When the fall starts, that's where the real football happens. So,
you guys have been here for a number of years. I want to talk about the culture in this program. Why is it so good for you guys, and why do you keep telling recruits you need to come here and be a part of this?
For me, I've always said it. It's not a football program. It's a life program for me. I came in at the age of 17, 18. I'm leaving here at 24, 25. So it's made me a man. It's taught me the rights and wrongs and how to live life and how to move as a man. So it's bigger than football here. It literally grown you into a man. So that's what it is for me.
Okay.
It's 100% a life program. It's not easy by any means, but at the same time, it's a lot of fun. The things we get to do, the experiences we get to have, they're out of this world, really, truly.
Right. Well, a lot of wins hopefully in store for you guys this upcoming season, and hopefully 1,000 yards for each of you, 10 touchdowns. That's what we'll be pulling for. So those are the offensive leaders for the Gophers. Coming up on the other side of the break, we're going to talk about one of their star defensive guys, Tyler Nubin. Be sure to stick around. Welcome back to the pj-fleck-show. I am joined now by safety Tyler Nubin. I have to ask you first, who has the best drip on the team? Because you came with it today.
Me.
You?
Me. 100%.
Chris Autman-Bell said he had it.
I know he do. I know. Yeah, he's got like the street clothes stuff. Yeah, I
say you can do all this.
Yeah, I put the suits on.
What's the inspiration behind the 27 chain?
It's really for my uncle Steve King. He passed away about like 7-8 years ago. And he's really the reason why I wear number 27. He wore 27. My dad wore 27 in college. His brother again wore 27 too. So 27 just it's a huge number in our family. So.
And I'm sure he wanted to see you go on to the NFL, but you decided to come back for another season. Can you talk about why you did that?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I would have been kicking myself if I didn't use that opportunity to use that COVID year and come back and play with my brothers one more time. I've made way too many great memories and had too many great teammates at Minnesota. So I feel like I had a lot of room to grow as a player as well. And I feel like Coach Rossi, Coach Collins, Coach Monroe, they're going to be able to help me grow into the player that I know I can be.
Everybody speaks about that bond, that brotherhood that you guys have at the U. Where did that come from, and how does it feel to be a part of that and knowing that you'll be a part of that for the rest of your life?
Yeah, it's just having an elite culture, honestly, and bringing in the right people that, you know, have the right goals and focus. And when you bring that all together in one environment and everybody's driven and focused on the same things, you can't not form a bond doing that type of thing. So I think really that's really it, just the culture and, you know, the type of people that we have in the program.
Now, we all know offense fills the seats in the stadium, but the defense wins championships. What is it about this defense that's going to be special in 2023?
We're nasty, we're hungry, and we're going to be smart. And I feel like we have a lot of hardworking guys, you know, just top to bottom across the board. Everybody loves to work. Everybody loves to do the extra mile, do the extra things that, you know, they need to do in order to get themselves in the position that they want to be. So I feel like we just have a really good collection of guys that, you know, we brought in, and, you know, young guys that are going to step up this year.
Now, I asked you this question during Gopher Media Day, and I'm going to double down and ask you again. Ohio State, Michigan, they get a lot of love in the Big Ten, and you guys are somewhat afterthoughts. How do you process that as a team and just kind of focus on what you need to focus on?
Me, you know, I've always loved being the underdog, and, you know, I feel like that's really the mindset of our head coach as well, Coach Fleck. And I feel like that's really the mindset of everybody in the building. You know, the type of, like I said, the type of people that we bring in. You know, everybody really has that hungry dog mentality, and we don't really care who's getting the TV time, who's getting the spotlight. We just gonna go out. We want to play football. And we want to play hard. So we really don't care about that. We just care about football.
Strength of schedule this year. You guys have a pretty tough schedule. Got Michigan at home, Ohio State on the road. What if you win? What will those wins do for a program and for a player like yourself moving forward?
Yeah, it does a lot. You know, in our program, we don't say tough schedule. We say opportunistic schedule because, you know, those are just more opportunities to play, you know, better talent, you know, better players, you know, better teams, things like that. And we don't shy from it. We don't run from it. So, you know, we see that as an opportunity, and, you know, we can't wait for it.
What did NFL scouts say to you in the offseason about what they wanted to see more from you this upcoming season to make you a higher draft pick?
Yeah, just more consistency, I feel like, in my game, you know, not just showing flashes of greatness here and there, just being consistent in my full entire game. And, you know, I'm just trying to really work on, you know, not having any flaws in my game, just being a complete all-around safety in all facets of my game, whether that's a run game, whether that's tackling, whether that's coverage skills, ball skills, all that type of thing, just being a full-rounded safety.
And you have all the athleticism in the world, but what else goes into being that premier safety that you're talking about right now?
Details, and, you know, film study and going the extra mile, doing the extra things during the week to be able to set yourself up to have an extra edge on the field so you're not just out there guessing.
All right, last question that I have for you. What has PJ Fleck meant to you, not only as a coach, but as a man and as a mentor?
Yeah, he's meant the world to me, honestly. He's taught me so much about, you know, how to be a man. You know, every team meeting, he starts out with something not related to football, whether that's a quote, whether that's, you know, some life advice, something that, you know, you can take with you. And, you know, being there 5 years, you accumulate a lot of knowledge with those team meetings. Right. So, you know, things that you write down. So I feel like, you know, I wouldn't be the man I am today without him and you know, without this program. And, you know, I thank him for everything.
All right, I'm putting you on the blast here as my final question. Over, under 5 interceptions this year?
Oh, over.
Any of them going back for pick sixes?
Oh, yeah.
Quite a few?
A ton of them.
You heard it from the man here himself. That's Tyler Nubin. We'll be back with more PJ Fleck Show after the break. Welcome back to the PJ Fleck Show. Coach, couple final questions before we let you go here. What's some of your favorite memories of being a Minnesota football coach, and what are you hoping to most do in the future here?
Well, first of all, like I said before, I just love being the head football coach at the University of Minnesota. It's an honor. It's a great fit for my family and our culture and what we do and how we do it. We've got a great athletic director in Mark Coyle. We've got great leadership at the top from the university leaders. But, you know, the thing you remember is, and somebody asked me this question yesterday, is like, besides winning, what's the funnest thing about your job? I said, when you watch the players that you coach create their own dreams and live out the things that they said they wanted to do when they first got to you. And one of those was a former player back at Western Michigan. Watching him now be a father is one of the greatest joys you have. And watching these guys say they want to do something, everybody says they want to do something, but actually accomplishing it and getting to where they said they wanted to. And if it's worth it, it's usually always hard. And I'm really proud of our team.
And when you have all your guys, your former players come back, they're watching practices, they're watching games, what does that say about you as a coach?
Well, the fun thing is, you know, a lot of people don't know, we had a huge alumni night the week before the spring game where over 150 former players came back, half of them that we coached and then half that we didn't coach. Right. I think one of the jobs as the head football coach is always to be able to connect the past, present, and the future, connect them all. And we've had a lot of head coaches in the last 25 years here at the University of Minnesota. And part of the reason we stay is that cultural sustainability we talked about from day one, and then connecting all of us as Gophers. No matter what era you played in, you're a Gopher, and bringing all those guys back. That was one of the funnest nights I've had, reminiscing with a lot of the former players. And then the week later, we had a family night for all of our players' families before the spring game. And it was like sitting around at a family reunion around a campfire. I never laughed so hard in my life listening to all of our family members that have selected us and thought it was the perfect fit for their sons.
The vibes are good in Minnesota right now, needless to say.
Absolutely, yeah, I would think so.
Well, let's go. I want to end it on a fun note. While I have you, I feel like you're the best dressed coach in the Big Ten. I mean, do you dispute that at all?
Well, I don't know if I would ever dispute that because my wife picks out everything that I do. So she's Italian and Irish, huge heart,
So
wonderful
she's
woman.
stylish.
Stylish. But yeah, she picks out everything, and usually it's like, yes, ma'am, and
Down to the pocket square as well today.
down to the pocket square. Yeah, this is an oldie but a goodie. I've wore that one a lot. This one's an oldie but a goodie.
Tell her she did a phenomenal job.
I appreciate that.
Coach, good luck for the
I
season.
appreciate it. Really,
All
Sky Mile, go Gophers.
That's PJ Fleck. I'm Ahmad Hicks. We'll see you all in a couple of weeks.